Mr. Emunah.
Sella comes.
Yeah, Elon's coming, I think. Naomi, it's good? It's good? It's even? It's set? You want to double check it?
You know
Okay.
Sella, right?
Yeah, I love Sella. All right, Asher, ready to rumble? And then just something for this. Okay. Okay. All right. Fine. Thank you so much, sweetheart. Stay here because I'm gonna do it in honor of you. Okay. All right. Welcome everybody to Meatball and Meanings. This week it is in honor of my wife Naomi for all the hard work she does and for setting everything up always and doing it with a smile. And it is in Refuah Shlema for Ruth Rina Bat Geraz. May she have a healthy and speedy healing. And in memory of my good friend Julian Saka's father, Michael ben Miriam. Just a quick story of Michael ben Miriam. He was a very special man and somebody who had the pleasure of living with for Michael Saka, may he rest in peace, had the pleasure of living with him for about 3 weeks to a month. Hey, welcome, Ray, welcome. Come, make a plate, have a seat, welcome. So I had the pleasure of living with him for about 3 weeks to a month. And he had this one character trait that stood out that I want to say in his memory and something that we could all learn from. There was, when I was living with him for about 3 weeks in Miami, I stayed by him for about 3 weeks and I had something that I wanted to talk to him about, an idea. And he took me out to dinner, and I was 21 at the time, and he listened to me like I was a 45-year-old businessman. He gave me the patience, and when the bill came for dinner, I said, let me, contribute a little. At the time, he wasn't really, working so much and making money. He said, no, I'm paying for it, and he made me feel, I remember feeling like royalty at a time in my life when I didn't feel so good about myself. I remember feeling like royalty, just being in his presence, and he had that way about him of making a person feel respected and listened to. And it's a beautiful trait we could all learn from. And this class is going to be in memory of his neshama, and may we all emulate his good traits, and may we learn tonight should be a lifting for his soul. Okay, so I'm going to start off today with Pirkei Avot. We're going to look inside on chapter 2, verse Mishnah 17. Okay. Does everybody on the Zoom hear properly? You guys are good? Okay. Fine. Rabbi Yossi Omer, Yehi mamon chabrecha chavib alecha keshelach v'hatken atzmecha lilmod Torah she'ena Yerusha lach v'chol ma'asecha yu l'shem shamayim. So it says here, Rabbi Yossi says, let your fellow's money be as dear to you as your own. Apply yourself to study the Torah, for it is not yours by inheritance, and let all your deeds be in this for the sake of heaven. Welcome, everyone. So let's take the first part. It says, let your fellow's money be as dear to you as your own. So I was thinking this over the other day, and a person, a lot of times, we think to ourselves, if I'm spending the money, you're more careful about it. But Doug, imagine I give you my credit card and I say, whatever you want, go buy snacks. So usually you wouldn't buy the Godiva chocolate, but now you have my credit card, let me buy it. So here Pirkei Avot saying, just the basic premise of treat others the way you want to be treated. If you have somebody else's, if you're doing something on somebody else's dime, make sure it's as dear to you as if you're doing it on your own dime, on your own account. So that's the simple explanation of that. Then it says here, the next verse says, apply yourself to the study of Torah, for it is not yours by inheritance. So sometimes we think that, okay, we're born Jewish and we don't need to study the Torah because we're taught it. It says in order for us to get access to the Torah, we have to delve into it and we have to study it and we have to work for it. Just like a person wouldn't expect to become a mechanic by just being around. His uncle's a mechanic, so he's going to learn to be a mechanic. No, he has to ask his uncle questions. He has to delve into it. And that's what we're all doing here tonight. We're here because we want to understand. These aren't my words. This is the words of the sages. We want to understand the way these people that came before us live their lives and the way they live their lives with wisdom, but we have to invest in it and delve into it. And then the last one says, let all your deeds be for the sake of heaven. V'chol ma'asecha yu l'shem shamayim. So it says here, all areas of your life are a venue for increasing the honor of heaven. Even the most seemingly mundane functions of life are elevated when they are performed in the service of God. So he's simply saying here that one of the chidushim, way to understand this is, welcome David, a way to understand this, David, is saying here that if a person goes to sleep, Asher, tonight you're going to bed, right? If you go to sleep because you're tired, you know how many mitzvot you get? You know how many, a mitzvah means like a positive deed, you get 0. But if you go to sleep tonight and you say, you know what, I'm going to sleep not because I'm tired, I'm going to sleep because I want to have energy to serve the Creator tomorrow, I want to have energy to be good to my friends tomorrow. How many mitzvot do you get? You get reward for every second that you're sleeping. Tonight, we're all in this class, right? We're all eating. Bray's got a nice plate of meatballs over there. So nice to have you, Ray. We're all here together. If somebody says, you know what, I'm coming to the class because I'm in the mood for a good dinner. You know how many merits he gets? Not much. But if someone says, I'm coming to learn, I want to connect, I want to be able to teach other people Torah. And then, oh, by the way, enjoy the meatballs. It's for everybody. You get a lot of deeds. So here, Pirkei Avot's telling us that it comes down to your intention. What is your intention when you do something, right? I can give someone a compliment because I want him to like me, because I want to suck up to him, because I want something from him. What's the merit I get? A donut, 0. But if I give someone a compliment because I want the guy to feel good, I get a merit because my intention is pure. So that's something that Pirkei Avot is teaching us here. So anyway, we have here, I heard a I know we all like stories. Today the attention span isn't always the greatest, and a story grabs us and it gives us a lesson that we need. I actually heard this story from the rabbi of our shul, Rabbi Ike Hannon, and it's a beautiful story with a beautiful point. But before I begin the story, I'm going to talk about last week's parasha, and I'm going to start off. Kalev, there were 12 spies that were sent to check out the land of Israel. 10 spies spoke negatively about the land, and 2 spies had nice things to say about the land. One of the spies that had something nice to say his name was Kalev. It's a separate topic, but the reason why the 10 spies spoke bad about the land, one of the reasons was because they didn't believe in themselves, which is in itself the greatest sin, to not believe in yourself. So anyway, that's a topic for another time. But Kalev, when he got back, all the 10 spies were saying evil talk about the land. And Kalev basically took the time and said, everybody quiet, I have something to say about the land. And everybody was quiet. He said a nice piece about the land, then everybody went back to complaining about the land. So the question is asked, why was Kalev rewarded for that? Doug, imagine everybody's doing something wrong and you say, guys, do what I'm doing, it's the right thing. And then everybody says, get out of here, Doug, we're not going to listen to it. What'd you do at the end of the day? You didn't do anything. Everybody's still doing the wrong thing. So why is Kalev so publicized and praised and mentioned for doing something good? At the end of the day, he didn't get anything done, right? So I'm going to answer the question with a beautiful story. There was once a boy, he grew up in Bnei Brak. Bnei Brak is black and white with tzitzit sticking out, with a black cat and a weekday black cat and a Shabbat black cat and a shtreimel. And as time went on, he went off the path of religion and he decided that he's going to move to Tel Aviv. So he lived with his cousin in Tel Aviv, and he started to date a non-Jewish woman, and eventually he was ready to marry the non-Jewish woman. But his cousin told him, before you pull the trigger on marrying the non-Jewish woman, do me one favor, go back to your family for a weekend. He said, okay, he respects his cousin. He went back to his family for the weekend. Now, he's with his family for the weekend, and his dad says, hey, by the way, I'm going to this class by Rabbi Steinman. Do you want to come? He says, yeah, sure. And he goes to the class, and the rabbi gives a whole class on a nice thing. The young man's listening. After the young man goes next to Rabbi Steinman, he says, could I talk to you for a few minutes? The rabbi says, of course you can talk to me. What's going on? He said, you should just know that I break Shabbat every week. I don't care about God. I don't care about any of this. And I plan on marrying a non-Jew. So he's expecting the rabbi to be like, oh, what are you doing? Come back with the best. The rabbi says, hold on. Let me ask you a question. Out of the times that you broke Shabbat in the past 2 years, did you have any regret? He says, as a matter of fact, I regretted it for 40 minutes over 2 years. So on 4 separate occasions, welcome Milan. On on 4 separate occasions, he felt regret for 10 minutes about breaking Shabbat. The rabbi stops and he says, wow, so you had 40 minutes of a pure heart. You had 40 minutes of a good feeling towards God. I'm jealous of you. That's amazing. God bless you. And the rabbi walks away. So now the boy's he's a little flat. He's a little taken aback by the rabbi's words. The rabbi's showing him so much love and so much care. Takes it to heart. He thinks about it. Little by little, he calls up his non-Jewish girlfriend. I can't get married to you. And he returns to religion. After this whole episode happens, his father tells him, what's going on? First of all, why would you agree to come here, Rabbi Steinman, with me? He's this black hat rabbi. You want nothing to do with religion. Why would you agree to come here? Boy says, it's funny. If you name me any other rabbi in the world, I would not have come to hear him. What do I want to hear this rabbi for? I'm chilling in Tel Aviv. I'm having a good time. What do I need to hear this rabbi? But this rabbi, I came because when I was in the 1st grade, my school took me to see this rabbi, Rabbi Steinman. And he was doing this thing. They do this thing with little kids. Ilan, what's this week's parasha? Parashat Shalach. Okay, here's a candy. So they were asking all the kids questions, and every kid got, after 3 rounds, every single kid got one question, right? They all got a candy, except this one boy. He got none of the questions right. He struck out, 0 for 3. And the rabbi, he doesn't get a candy. The rabbi pulls him aside after and says, I wanted you to know, you get 3 candies. He says, why? I got none of them right. He goes, because in life, in business, in sales, Elon, you want to sell a product? You only make money if you close the deal. I don't care how many sales calls you make. You're only making money if you close the deal. The rabbi said in Judaism, it's not like that. All the other students got the first question right, so they got a candy. You tried 3 times, so really you tried harder than them. You deserve 3 candies. Even though you got it wrong, in Judaism, we reward for the effort. So going back to Kalev failed. He struck out. He said, guys, listen, I have a good thing to say about the land. And nobody listened to him. Nobody cared what he had to say. But nevertheless, he tried. So in life, a lot of times you could feel that we're trying. Everyone has the area they're working on. Whether it's guarding the eyes, whether it's evil speech, whether it's keeping Shabbat, whether it's being nicer to people, whether it's being modest for a woman. Whatever it is, everybody has the area you're working in. And sometimes the Yetzer Hara is very strong, and we could feel like we're failures. We could feel like, okay, I keep praying, I keep trying, and I keep failing. Wrong attitude. We're not rewarded for the result. We're rewarded for the effort. As long as you show up and try, Hashem counts it, and it matters to Hashem, and it means the world to Hashem. Okay, so that's one topic right there. That's something that I felt was very, very important to share.
I love that story, by the way. It's a great story.
Beautiful. In the name of Rabbi Hanan, I'm saying that. Beautiful story. Let's go inside this book right here, Living Emunah 2. There's very nice stories about how to take Emunah from up here and to apply it to our lives. So we're on page 119. I'm going to read a little from the book, and we'll continue with the story. When a person has strong Emunah and understands that Hashem is always in control and accompanies us at all times, this belief profoundly affects the way he speaks and acts. He lives with confidence and peace of mind, knowing that he's connected at all times to the master of the world. This mindset and its effects upon his conduct and demeanor will automatically inspire others. Every soul is thirsty for Emunah, and thus when people hear words of Emunah, they naturally feel drawn to it. For many people watching, people act and speak with Emunah can be a life-altering experience. The more we internalize Emunah, the more it will affect our conduct. And thus, by extension, the more we'll be able to impact upon and inspire people around us. We might never find out whom we affected and how, but Hashem keeps track and can be trusted to repay us in full. So he's saying here that when one person acts with Emunah, he's not just, when one person has faith in God and doesn't react to situations and stays calm and believes that God has his back and everything's going to work out. And whatever he's dealing with in health, he's going to heal. And whatever he's dealing with in business, it's going to get better. Welcome, David. So whatever he's doing, it's going to work out. He's saying you're not just helping yourself, you're helping other people also. You're helping people. So he gives a story here about a guy named David. So there was a guy named David. He waited 10 years to have a baby boy. And finally, after 10 years, he was blessed with a baby boy. And he named the baby boy Mati. So he said, okay, I want you guys to know why I'm naming my son Mati. Let me take you back to a story. He was in college. He grew up in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, and he had a Roman Catholic roommate. and they decided that as a joke, they weren't observant at all. They decided as a joke, he's going to go attend a Passover Seder. As a joke, it's like a fun thing to do. And he goes and he sits down at the Seder, and little by little he's listening and he's feeling connected to it. He's feeling inspired to it. This was a boy that wasn't observant at all. And then one thing left to another. He volunteered at a secular kibbutz in Israel. And little by little, he started connecting. Sure enough, David's friend who went with him to Israel got taken captive as a prisoner. And they were imprisoned by the Arabs, and the Arabs were torturing them every day. And they were so miserable, they wanted to escape, but really escaping is a death sentence. If you try to escape, you're going to get shot. One of the guys in the group said, "Do not despair. Hashem has not abandoned us. Stay put and have faith. Hashem can save us in an instant." And he was saying those words with such strength and such faith that everybody listened to him. They were going to escape. They were going to run for their lives, essentially committing suicide. But this person said, "No, Hashem has our back. We're good. Don't despair." They all listened to him. And a few weeks later, there was a prisoner swap and they were set free. And he said, this soldier that said these words that we shouldn't run for it and we should have faith in Hashem, his name was Mati. And because I heard those words, I became religious. And 10 years later, I'm naming my son after this. And a few weeks before his son was born, he got a call that Mati was killed in a car accident. So here's a guy who he never met, but made him religious because of his words of Emunah, because of his actions. So we have to know sometimes most people don't tell us what we're doing. Most people don't say, "Oh, Ilan, I saw you praying in shul, and I saw you closing your eyes and praying hard, and that made me pray another 2 minutes in my Amidah. Davi, I saw you helping that old lady out with the groceries, and you weren't doing it to get an extra donut. I decided I want to do more chesed. I want to do more. Erwin, I saw you helping out that boy. I saw you saying nice words to him, and you were doing it out of the goodness of your heart. I decided I got to help more people." Most people aren't going to do that. Most people get influenced. Everyone gets influenced by each other, and for the wrong too. Sometimes I see somebody talking in synagogue or saying something not nice, and it pulls me down. So we have to know that our actions, most of the time we're not going to be told what our actions are doing, but our actions rub off on others, and they matter, and they're a big deal. So the book we just pulled from was Living Emunah. Okay. One second. Okay. Here's another story. Today we're going story heavy. I listened to a lot of Rabbi Nachman's stuff, and I got a lot of beautiful stories that carry deep messages. And I feel that today, sometimes we're so bogged down with life and work that we don't have the head to sit and read words. Sometimes we need stories to be able to get messages, and I think it's a good medium sometimes to use. So there's a story. So back to the point. We're saying all these nice things, but somebody might come to me after and say, "Okay, but it's hard, right? It's hard. This is hard to do these things. It's nice to say faith, but anyone could have faith when they're eating meatballs around the table and we're hanging out and it's a nice summer night and everything's good. But you try having faith in the winter when it's snowing and nothing's working right in business and my relationships aren't working and I feel like I'm getting punched in the face." So to answer that, I quote Perkei Avot. It says, "Lefum sa'ara agra." According to the toil is the reward. And a simple story to illustrate this, right? If somebody wants to get strong in the gym, Erwin's ripped. Look at these pythons of arms. If you lift styrofoam cups, are you going to get ripped? Let's go. Let's lift this 50 reps. No, this guy, he picks up the 90 pound barbell and he's curling with it. And look at his arms.
Now that book would be 90 pounds.
So the idea is that a person needs resistance to get stronger. That's the idea. So here's a story. There were a bunch of boys hanging out in a yeshiva and they had gym time. So they were running to the field to play some baseball. And there was this old man who they used to see around and he said, "Guys, can you come help me? I have some books in my attic. I need help bringing them downstairs." The boys look at each other. "Old man, it's our recess." But the leader of the gang, David, said, guys, come on. This is what we learn in school. Chesed. He's an older guy. Let's help him. They follow David a little begrudgingly. There's a bunch of boxes in his attic. And there's some lighter boxes and there's some heavier boxes. So David takes the heaviest box. Now the boys are saying, yeah, we'll help out. So they take a book downstairs. Another one takes a little box of paper clips. David said, guys, why are you taking such light boxes? They go, we don't want to work. What do we learn? We learn chesed. We got to do chesed. Finally, everybody chooses the box they want to choose, and they lug it up some heavy stairs. When they get to the attic, David shuts the door. This old man. He says, I want everyone to take a marker and label the box they brought upstairs. So David writes David on the box. Doug writes Doug. Asher took the heavy box. He writes Asher. I see pumping iron. So everybody's writing what they want to write. They're writing their names on the box. David says, guys, inside of all these boxes is gold. I worked my whole life. I worked my heart out to make money, and God bless me, I made a lot of money. But I have no children. And I see you guys, you're a good group of boys. And I said, I'm going to put you guys to the test. Who's really a good person? Who's going to help me with the heavy box? You, David, you took the heaviest box. He opens the box, sees $1 million of gold in it. The other kid took a light box. He sees $5,000. Free $5,000, but he could have got $1 million. That's the struggle we have in life. Sometimes a person could feel like a victim when he goes through pain, when he goes through a struggle, he could feel like a victim. But the harder your box, the heavier the box you carry, the more reward, the bigger of a person you're going to be, the more olam haba you're going to earn, the more you're going to be able to touch people's lives, the more you struggle, the more you're going to be able to do things with it. So that's an answer to the objection of these things are hard. It's hard to embody faith. And then, okay, fine. Very good. We're going to open. I have a book right here by Gedalia Fenster. Listen to his podcast. He has very nice things to share. He has a book called Surrender. We're going to open to a random page, and Hashem's going to guide us to that page, leads us, whoever here, to what we need to hear. This part of the class we didn't prepare. We said we're going to open to a random page. Marry the truth. This book is all one page on different topics of mindset and connecting to Hashem and spirituality. Sometimes we have to divorce the story and marry the truth. Rabbeinu Bachya says that a little truth conquers many lies. Just as a little light repels much darkness, the only way to get out of the flood in our lives is through truth. The truth will hurt, but it will set you free. When we're drowning in problems, truth is our lifeline. Our mind creates comforting stories to avoid pain, but these same stories keep us stuck. Truth cuts through confusion like a beam of light cutting through darkness. Though facing reality may sting at first, this temporary discomfort leads to lasting freedom. By embracing what is real, we find our way to solid ground. The soul was never afraid of truth. It was made to walk in it. But the ego builds stories to protect us from pain. And over time, we start mistaking these stories for who we are. In Hasidic thought, darkness isn't chased away. It's dissolved by light. Even a small truth spoken with sincerity begins to clear the fog. Yes, it may hurt at first. Truth is like salt. It stings when poured on a wound, but it also purifies. When you choose truth over comfort, you're choosing healing over illusion. At the moment you say, I'm ready to see, heaven meets you with clarity, strength, and peace. Question, what story am I ready to release so I can begin living in truth? So this is something that I got to work on firsthand, and we're always working on it. Tell yourself the truth. You don't have to be perfect. God doesn't need you to be perfect. God doesn't want you to be perfect. But be honest. You know, there's people, they have beautiful trait where they say, I have a challenge and I'm struggling with it and I'm not perfect. That's 20 times bigger than a person who says, me, I'm perfect. So for example, somebody goes into their fridge at night and goes for a healthy dessert, right? Healthy dessert, let's say chocolate, and he's eating them. So if he wants to say, I'm eating the food because I have a craving and it's hard for me, that's fine. But they say, no, it's healthy. I'm eating it because it's healthy. So now, again, he's covering up the issue of, I want a snack and it's hard for me to beat my snacking. And when you cover up the issue, it's harder to deal with the root of the problem. So here's just a piece on from Gedalia Fenster. And just want to end on a quick story on evil speech, on working on, this is something that I'm working on personally. You know, me and my wife, we're working on being conscious of the way we speak to other people, speak about others. we want to make sure that we don't say anything to others that we wouldn't want to be said about ourselves. So if you want somebody to say nice things to you, we got to work on saying nice things about others and not using our mouth to damage. So there were a bunch of seminary girls in Israel. They were in seminary in Israel, and they were on a bus. And one girl piped up. They're talking, oh, I'm going to buy scarves. I'm going to do this. I'm going to that. Girl talk, whatever. One girl pipes up and says, "Did you hear? Leah got engaged." Wow, Leah got engaged. That's so nice. Beautiful. Who'd she get engaged to? This guy, David Friedman. Wow, David Friedman. The guy's 6'4", good looking. His dad's a multi-billionaire. His family has the best midot. It's like the best guy in the world. He's like a catch. Then all of a sudden, one of the girls says, "Wow, how'd she get him?" She was such a nutcase in high school. She was such a goof. And she didn't really mean bad. She was just saying, like, what a guy. He's a king. And this girl, like, I don't know, like, I could think of a better girl than him. It was like subtle traces of jealousy and negativity. It wasn't like outright saying bad about her. And then that led another girl to say, "Yeah, she was. Remember that about her?" And they started talking about her. It wasn't dark Lashon Hara. It wasn't like she's the worst, but it was like, there was like traces of negativity. Finally, the bus stops at a bus stop, and a woman behind them says, "I would like to thank you for telling me all that about Leah." Their face drops. She goes, "Leah, who are you?" She says, "I'm David Friedman's mother, and Leah will not be my daughter-in-law." All the girls are like, "Holy cow. I'm sorry, we take it all back. She's a good girl. No, don't listen to..." And she starts walking off the bus. And she said, "I heard what I heard. Now you want to take it back?" And these girls are beat red in the face. They just ruined this girl's whole marriage. And then the lady really wasn't David Friedman's mother. She was a seminary teacher who was smart. Instead of telling them, "Don't say Lashon Hara," she turns around and she says, "I'm not David Friedman's mother, but what if I was?"
Nice.
And all their faces dropped, and that girl took on, from then on, "I'm going to watch my mouth," because you see the damage you could do onto others by running your mouth. And it's something that's tempting, because when we're hanging out, we like to talk, we like to say things, but it's important to stop before you say something and say, "Would I want someone to say this about me?" And try to give people the benefit of doubt and purify our speech. Once again, thank you all for coming. This class is in memory of Michael ben Miriam, a very special man, my good friend Julian Sacker's father. And may his neshama have an aliyah, and we're all internalizing the lessons he taught us and all the virtues he had. And thank you all for coming. Have a beautiful, beautiful night. Okay. Nice. Elon, thanks for coming.
That was nice.
So nice to have you. Wow, we were waiting for you to come. Thank you. Oh, beautiful. Ray, thank you for coming, Ray. Wow. You look good. You got big.
Yeah,
wow.
I saw you when I saw John. I'm like,
yeah, huge.
Feels good to see you.
It's my good friend Doug. Barnes, what a surprise. What a surprise. Oh, thanks for coming. How are you? Good to have you. Thank you. Thank you, Dave. Nice to have you.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Great
Thank you.
class, great
Thank you.
class.
Thank you.
I didn't see it at all.
Asher. Oh, you're awesome. You're
This was one
awesome.
of the better weeks. Not the
Oh,
best.
yeah? Thank
Had a
you.
lot
Thank you.
of,
Thank God.
lot of.
Baruch Hashem. God's help. So guys, we're rebranding next week to Hamburgers and Holiness. That's it. I said the meatballs is, we did it all winter. Hamburgers and Holiness next week.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.